Words are about to be spoken on the Extreme Life of Matt Hardy, brought to you by the Ad Free Shows, Podcast Heat, and Wrestling According to Alba Networks. I'm John Alba. That's the broken one. That's the broken one. That's the spoken one himself. Matt Hardy coming to us via satellite, presumably from Tejas. Is that correct?
Yes, we're in Damascus.
How's everything going there, man?
Wait, we were in Damascus last night. We're in El Paso, Texas tonight. Everything's going good, man.
Tired? Exhausted?
That's what I do. Yes, tired, exhausted. That's the life of a dad of four with a Boricua and someone who is put in a position where they the streets are calling them the goats and they expect them to deliver. You know, just coming off a big WrestleCade where we main evented both nights. We had the longest line as we have had the last 3-4 years of WrestleCade. You know.
Yeah, I want to hear about that. How'd all WrestleCade? This is my first time not at WrestleCade in like 4 years. It seemed like it was locked and loaded. You guys had some good matches. How was the Good Brothers?
They were good. Good brothers are good. You know, Carl Anderson taking good care of himself, looking like a rock star, all thin, got abs and whatnot. It was great, man. Working with those guys, they're very reminiscent to me of working with Brian Myers and Eddie Edwards. Fuck, I'll do it every day of the week and twice on Sunday, please. They fucking get it.
Nice.
Good brothers. Easy. Big love to Big LG and Machine Gunner, man. Yeah. So we worked with those guys, and it was so cool because we teamed with Zilla Fatu. We were supposed to do that in Jersey, but that show ended up being canceled because there was a storm and they shut down the park and everything there. So we got to do that match again against myself, Jeff, and Zilla against Joshua Bishop and the Good Brothers. And it was a real big moment for Zilla. And we knew it was going to be. And Enzo had asked me to do a promo at the end. And I don't think Zilla was even kind of in on what I was going to say exactly. But they had an angle afterwards. And Jeff and I had to get out of the ring. It was just going to be Zilla and somebody he's going to be battling going forward. So I came out, I cut a promo. Hey, Winston-Salem, you know, how badass was Fourth Rope tonight? And it was a really good show. One of the best Fourth Rope shows that there has been thus far. And they ended up doing really good. Had a huge walk up that day and ended up filling up the whole arena. And we did the whole thing, said, hey, thank you for coming out to Hardy Country. We're so happy to be here teaming with Zilla Fatu. A lot of you may not know this, but this guy's the future of wrestling. And a lot of you probably don't know this, but this guy's father is the legendary Umaga. And myself and Jeff, we ran the roads with him. We were extremely close friends with him, and he's following in his father's footsteps. And Jeff and I are so proud of him. We're so proud to be here teaming with him. I said, your dad would be so proud of you if he could see you right now, and I'm sure he is, looking down on you. And Zilla was like, he kept his head down. He was crying. You know, he was very emotional. He's like, man, I didn't know you was going to say all that, you know, but it was great. And then I said, so I want to leave the stage to him. He is the future of pro wrestling, and he is the Fourth Rope champion. Right now, I'm going to let him shine, and I'm going to let him take it home. The stage is yours, Zilla. Take it. And, you know, then they did their business to the end of the night, and Jeff and I, we skedaddled out of there. It was great, man. Really, really good piece of business. Really smart, well-worked match, and just the crowd was so easy. They were so electric. They were so passionate. Once again, thank you, Winston-Salem. Thank you, Hardy Country. We love you more than you know.
You think Zilla's the real deal?
Yeah, I think Zilla has the potential to be a very, very big star. When I say that he is going to be the future of wrestling, he lines up with the Samoans like Jacob Fatu and everybody else. Yes, he has that potential.
What is it about? Is it the intensity, the charisma, the presence?
The intensity, the athleticism. He's like built like a brick shit house, but he can move and he can dive over the top rope. He can jump. He's just very athletic, very Samoan. He has those Samoan genes, no doubt about it. And, you know, his dad was super athletic, super strong. And he has a great charisma. He has a great personality. And once again, I think even doing that promo, which will air, I'm sure, whenever they drop this, is they usually drop them on YouTube, and they're building a collection of these Fourth Rope events. I mean, I think it was really good in humanizing him, because I think a lot of people, especially casual wrestling fans, my favorite term, casual wrestling fans. I love casual wrestling fans. I think casual wrestling fans see Samoans and they think of them as like, oh man, these are these tough guys and they're like bulldozers. They mow everybody over. I think it was very humanizing. I think it made people feel for him in a way outside of just being entertained by his strength and his athleticism.
We were going to talk about Umaga this week, but Some big news ended up coming across that we're going to talk about throughout the course of this episode. So we'll push Umaga to maybe next year this time, because next year it will actually be 15 years since his passing. But anything you want to say about Umaga? Because as we release this week, it is the 14th. 14 years since he passed, which is pretty crazy because I loved Umaga. I thought Umaga was one of the best wrestlers in WWE history not to win the world title. I really believed he was that good. And you guys got to know him well, and Jeff really got to know him well from working so much with him. But a lot of good memories of Umaga.
Yeah, all three of us were tight. Him and Jeff, they worked together for a long time. They were like best friends. And you ask Jeff who his favorite opponent is in all of wrestling, he will say Umaga each and every time. We loved Eki. He was great. He was with Jeff, when he first left and came in when they were doing 3-minute warning, and that's where they first bonded a little bit. And then when he's back and he was doing the whole Umaga deal, him and Jeff got super close. They worked. They had such great chemistry. They loved working together. They just enjoyed each other's company so much, and they were both very unique and different animals, as human beings are. Obviously, Jeff is. Anyone who knows the charismatic Enigma knows he's very unique. He is an anomaly. He is very different than your normal human being. And both him and Umaga, him and Eki, both had that characteristic and that quality of just being very different and very unique to themselves. And man, Umaga was such an intimidating looking dude, and he did play the part perfectly, and he really did. And he was a sweetheart, on the outside. And one of the things I never forget, I think about this with my boys, even with Maxwell and Wolfie now, is Maxwell's 10.5. And he's like, nah, he said, I told my little motherfucker, he said, you won't cuddle me. I don't care how big you get. If I pull you in, I'm going to tell you cuddle, you're going to cuddle. And that's what he was doing with Zilla. And I love that. And I think about this sometimes. Like, I'll grab them. I said, Maxwell, you too big to cuddle now? I said, shit, and he's like, no, I'm not. I said, because if you say you are, I'm going to pull you in and make you cuddle.
There you go, right? No, that's great.
I'll never forget that with Umaga. And I remember Jeff used to say, like, you think you're more of a wrestler? He said, I don't know. I mean, whatever he wants to do. But he's so proud of his dad, and just I hate he didn't get to know him better than he did.
Yeah.
That makes me very sad.
Yeah.
But Eki was just such a special, unique individual. And he was so talented. And as you said, a guy who was talented enough to be the world champion.
Oh, yeah, and it's wild because he gets such a silly gimmick with that Umaga presentation at first, right? Like, it's so over the top in your face. But, man, he was so believable in it. And it was like, oh, wow, actually, this makes a lot of sense. And it works. And he's a beast. And it fit him so well. He was great. And I always popped because William Regal would say his name differently every single time. Umaga. Every single time it was different. And I associate a lot of positive memories from that period of wrestling with Umaga specifically. We just did a tape study on WrestlingAccordingToAlba.com of John Cena versus Umaga from the Royal Rumble 07, which I think is one of Cena's best pay-per-view matches ever, truthfully. It was a last man standing match, and it's just it holds up super well even all these years later. So go check out Umaga's work. Next year we'll try to dive a little deeper into him, but I got a lot of love for Umaga, and it sounds like he was an awesome dude to get a chance to actually hang around and work with. So big shout out to him.
He was a blast to work too. I got the chance to work him in a few singles on house shows. I think I had a couple 3-ways with him. They're nowhere near as much as Jeff did, but man, he was so good. He was a Samoan. He had the ability, and he had the gift that a lot of the Samoan wrestlers do of just being next level.
Sure, absolutely. Speaking of Cena, he dropped the Intercontinental Championship at Survivor Series. Liv Morgan came back in that match. There were like 5 interferences in that match. But he did drop it, and we are down to one match left here for your boy, Big Match John, which will be next weekend. As we tape this, we are 10 days away. He's going to end up facing either LA Knight or Gunther. You have any predictions as to who it ends up being between the two of them?
I am going to guess it is going to be Gunther.
Why so?
That's what makes the most sense for the last match. I mean, LA Knight is another guy that's extremely popular. They're positioning John Cena in a babyface role, trying to send him out on a high note as a babyface. They course corrected and got him back on that track. So I think it would be counterproductive to put him with LA Knight.
I look, you know me, I've been saying since like day one, I think it's going to be Gunther. But I totally see a scenario where it could be LA Knight just because he's a big star for them. He hasn't quite gotten that opportunity to be a big time main eventer. And what better way to tell your audience that this guy matters than giving him John Cena's last match? And they both have a lot of charisma. I think I wish they had like a proper program where they could have some promos together and they could build something together, because I think it would actually be pretty entertaining. That would be my devil's advocate argument, but I do think that it will probably be Gunther as well. And man, Gunther versus Cena, that's like an old school Hogan match up there, isn't it?
In some ways, I mean, I can see some parallels to that. You have the villain, you have the bad guy, which is also a foreigner taking on the American hero. I see some parallels in that way. Yeah, but just Gunther is just so good at what he does as far as being in the role of a heel and as the ring general and just coming out and being this very stoic bad guy who's just like a wrestling machine who just like decimates people. He's really good at what he does.
And his in-ring storytelling, his in-match storytelling is just exceptional. I think he's one of the best I've ever seen, frankly, when it comes to that. And all of his matches have a similar structure, but he finds a different way to present them. And then he works to his opponent's strengths. He is awesome. Very much like FTR in that sense, in my opinion. Speaking of FTR, we're doing our Sports Illustrated year-end awards voting right now.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty damn heated for that tag team of the year position, man. It is like I'd say a 3-horse race right now.
Yeah.
Between FTR, the Young Bucks, and the Hardys. And there's been a lot of debate, and you guys will see when we roll those out who wins, and we'll do our year-end awards here as we always do. But man, that's good company to be in there, Matt. As you guys have made your stake for tag team of the year, FTR's had an amazing year. The Young Bucks had a great bounce back year. It's a pretty stacked year.
I would say those are 3 good choices, but I would probably switch the way I would state that. I'd say that the Young Bucks and FTR found themselves in the company.
Ooh, okay. I see that. Rajiv saying Hardys are easily tag team of the year. Josh saying only the GOAT should win it. Most active team of the year and most decorated.
I want to see how both the Young Bucks and FTR are doing once they've been on TV for 27 years. See if they're still in the running for tag team of the year. Now, I'll be honest, Brother Nero's feeling good, man. Now with this this AMC deal that we're going to be talking about here shortly, and we're very motivated and fired up, and ready to take a leadership role. Like,
okay.
I'm ready to embrace that more and more. Like, it's time to make TNA as legitimate as it can be. Something that's very important to me.
All right. Well, we'll see. There could be a lot of big moments left in the tank for the Hardys. We'll see. Maybe some WrestleMania moments in the future. Who's to say? There was tease, by the way, of WrestleMania this weekend at Survivor Series. We are getting CM Punk and Braun Breaker in January on the first Raw of the year, which I like a lot. I've been big on just let's do it with Breaker. Let's put him there. Let's give him the spot. So I think there's a chance that could happen. But the other one that was teased big, Cody Roman 3. And it's been a little divisive, Matt. People have had a lot of thoughts on this. How do you feel about the idea of doing the rubber match between Cody and Roman this year?
I don't know. I mean, I guess it is two of their biggest stars. I mean, that's kind of unquestionable that they are 2 of WWE's biggest stars, no doubt. As far as doing them again, I would imagine it is a match they could make money with. That there are certainly a group of individuals that would be interested in it. But like, I also feel too, it's WrestleMania and they have done it a couple times, so I don't know. I'm a little torn on it, and I guess maybe the story they would tell going into it would be the final selling point if that ends up being the match.
I think the fact that there's 1-1 against each other at WrestleMania, naturally it tells you they should do a third. So I don't have an issue with that. But man, they did it back-to-back years, with the first being, as of this coming WrestleMania, 3 years prior. Then it'll be the 2 years prior with one break year and then doing a third. It almost feels like that match maybe benefits from having a little time pass and making people really want to see that rubber match, that blow-off match between them. That's kind of my approach to it.
Yeah, I mean, I think so too. I mean, I think there's a lot of people that see. I think you and people who are wrestling fans as diehard you are thinking about it as like a tiebreaker, a rubber match. I mean, I think it is presented to a WWE audience more than anything else. Like, we need a new story, a new way to get in.
You don't think that's going to be the story, though? You don't think that's going to be the story?
It can be part of it, but I don't think it should be the major part of the story. I think the major part of the story is going to be something new and fresh. Shit changes. I think we need a new reason for Roman Reigns to fight Cody Rhodes, whatever it may be, not just the tiebreaker. Like, I just think at the end of the day, just stories around characters. That is what builds emotional.
I think the easiest story to tell is they both have gigantic egos. They both think they're the biggest star of their eras. So here's the rubber match to prove who's the biggest star of their era. I mean, it's such an easy story to tell, and it makes sense for both of them. And I think that would be the perfect way to play into presenting that story.
Could be. I would like to see a little more layers on it than just that.
Of course, I'm all about having more layers of storytelling and the egos on them and the family histories between them. I would love to see them dig a little more into that. I mean, Rajiv pointed out Rock and Austin had 3 Mania main events in 5 years, so why not? Mm-hmm. Josh even saying Cody turning heel and Roman babyface for the final match would be different.
I mean, that almost, that wouldn't shock me.
I just don't. Cody's your John Cena. I don't think there's this actual need to turn him right now. And I think the only way you turn him is if you truly just have no idea what to do creatively with him, because he is such a natural, charismatic top babyface, and I don't know why you'd want to ruin that. But maybe I'm wrong.
He is a very naturally charismatic top babyface.
Yeah.
He's done a great job being the face of the company. I don't know. I once again too, something else that is going to come into all this, which we don't know, like how much is Roman committed to them going forward?
And that's a valid question. Look, Cody could be a big star too.
Who's that?
Cody could be a big star too in the future.
No, I mean he could be, but what I'm saying is, like, what if there is a deal where Roman is committed to come back doing a full-time schedule, and they decide to put him back as the face and doing the full-fledged tribal chief babyface run. I mean, I don't know. A lot of that stuff is going to factor into this.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll probably know sooner than later. We're on the road to the Rumble, man. It's not that far away. Making that trip, you gonna go into you getting on that plane to Saudi, getting the Rumble this year?
Never say never.
How's 3 million real sound to you? Would that get you on a plane there?
We
gotta check
for sure.
Check the conversion rate on that. See what it comes out to. Okay.
They love me in Saudi.
I'm sure they do. They love Mr. Beast in Saudi too. I've been seeing a lot of that on social media recently. Okay, man. Well, we got a lot to talk about here with the TNA media rights deal. You and I, legitimately, being very legitimate, I want to make this very clear. Matt and I don't talk about these things. I'd be a conflict of interest. So this is the first time Matt has even said the name AMC to me. So I'm excited to dive into this with you and talk about this. But before we can, I got to ask, please hit us with that Matt fact.
Matt fact. Matt believes it'd be a curse to know your date of death.
Ooh, that's awfully morbid. Where's that coming from?
It was a discussion Jeff and I had this evening.
That sounds like a Jeff Hardy conversation, so I believe that.
I think it started from Final Destination.
Oh, okay.
And we were having a discussion because we had like a 30-minute drive as we were doing media today, and we were just talking about shit. And I was like, you know what? I've thought about this in the past. I think one of the worst things you could possibly know is if you were going to die and it was going to happen in 18 months, 19 months, 2 years, whatever. Like if you knew that date, it would fuck with you so much. It would change everything. That's all you would think about. You could never stop thinking about it. Said you could look up and say, oh, you're going to live to be 97 or whatever. But like, I just think knowing your date of death would be a curse. So that's very interesting. What do people think about it?
It wouldn't make you want to live it up a little more, like relish life, enjoy life a little more?
I mean, it would, but I feel like I'm better off not knowing when it's going to happen. Because I do my best to live every day as if it is my last, but I try and take care of myself and also live my life like I'm going to live forever. That is my mentality. It's kind of twofold. But if you knew that and you were going to die in 18 months, I mean, Jeff said, well, like, would your life change? I said, fuck yeah, I wouldn't be out here driving. I'd be spending fucking every waking moment with my children to make sure they know who the fuck I am.
Yeah.
I said, I mean, that'd be what's most important to me. I mean, I don't need to make any more money as it is right now. Like, I'm not going to be able to spend the money I fucking have. Like, I'd fucking stay at home. I'd go on vacations. I'd do stuff. And I would just try and let my children know me as much as I could before I left, which would be sad, but it would dominate your thoughts and it would just change the course of everything.
Well, Josh Henney watching via WrestlingAccordingToAlba.com, which you can all do by signing up to WrestlingAccordingToAlba.com, watch Matt live. Adding some levity, saying, as a funeral director, that'd be terrifying but convenient for my business. So
no, you're right.
It would be convenient for your business, certainly so. We recently had our biggest Hardy party ever in New York City. It was amazing. It was in a small, tight room, and it was hot, and it was sweaty. You think I'd be worrying about that, right? Not a freaking chance, because I had Mando on the go. You see, Mando is whole body deodorant that's safe to use anywhere on your body. Your pits, balls, thigh folds, belly buttons, butt cracks, feet, wherever. It's created by a doctor who firsthand saw how normal BO was being misdiagnosed and mistreated. Mando is clinically proven to block odor all day and control odor for up to 72 hours. They got their solid deodorant stick, which is formulated and powered by mandelic acid to stop odor before it starts, or even their spray deodorant, which is aluminum-free and ideal for hard-to-reach places. So all their products are baking soda-free, paraben-free, and they come with fresh scents like bourbon leather, or Clover Woods, or Mount Fuji, or Pro Sport. They're clinically proven to control odor better than a shower with soap alone. 12 hours after a shower, the average man's grundle odor level, a 5 out of 10. With Mando, it's a 0. Mando's starter pack is perfect for new customers. It comes with a solid stick deodorant, cream tube deodorant, 2 free products of your choice like the mini body wash and deodorant wipes, and free shipping. And as a special offer for our listeners, new customers get 20% off site-wide with our exclusive code. Use code MattHardy at shopmando.com for 20% off site-wide and free shipping. That's SHOPMANDO.com. Please support our show and tell them we sent you. Mando's got you covered with deodorant plus sweat control. Say goodbye to sweat stains and hello to long-lasting freshness. Well, you know, AMC, Matt, had The Walking Dead for a long time, as you're well aware.
I just wanted it over. Do you know who said that?
Who said that?
It's a Rick Grimes quote.
It's a Rick Grimes quote. Okay. I told you, I've seen like one episode of The Walking Dead. It was like the most brutal, violent one.
Oh, you saw the one where Negan?
Yeah. The eye popping out. Yeah. That's the one I saw.
Wow.
What an introduction, right? But I'm saying The Walking Dead because, man, for a while, for many years, it sure looked like TNA was The Walking Dead. And yet, TNA lives, and now TNA's thriving. Because TNA has a new media rights deal, a multi-year deal with AMC Networks. We don't know the financial terms, but Carlos Silva, the president of TNA, had openly discussed that they were searching for between $7 and $10 million annually. It was negotiated on behalf of Creative Artist Agency with AMC Networks. AMC Networks owned by the Dolan family, which owns Madison Square Garden Entertainment, Madison Square Garden Sports, the Knicks, the Rangers. And TNA's got a new home, new place. They're going to make a little bit of money here. What's the buzz, man?
You think TNA is in danger? We are the one who knocks. Do you know that quote?
No.
It's Heisenberg, Walter White.
I've watched Breaking Bad. I just haven't watched it to the extent you have.
I just thought that fit. I got a smile on my face thinking about it. TNA, much like Matt Hardy, it will not die. People have called for its death many times over, and it is a survivalist, much like me.
Yeah. What's the buzz right now in the locker room?
Great buzz, a lot of excitement. It's a great team. People have been working extremely hard. I'm so proud of the locker room over the last year. I mean, I really, it felt like a turning point last year at Against All Odds, whenever coincidentally the main event was me versus Moose, and then Jeff ended up returning, but we had Joe Henry. He was becoming very hot. He was a viral figure. I thought Nick Nemeth had given TNA a lot of credibility as being the champion, and the partnership was starting to be forged, and just things were different from that event on, because that was one of that event we had to turn people away. I remember it held like 1,200 people, 1,300 people. It was one of the smaller venues. And then I just remember we started stepping up and we were doing bigger buildings. And I remember how wild it felt. You know, we did Bound for Glory in Detroit when Jeff and I first won the titles back in the Full Metal Mayhem Reimagined. And we had over 3,000 people and we were sold out. And then we did Genesis in Dallas last year and we had 5,000 people. I mean, we were drawing these big numbers, you know, and then we went on to do a huge number Slammiversary, and then we went on to do even bigger number at Bound for Glory. And I mean, it's been a crazy year and 5 months or so, 6 months since that time. But Against All Odds, we did a promo afterwards, and the way the whole crowd was cheering and exciting, the whole crowd was cheering and they were excited. Just hearing that Hardy Boys music play at TNA and having Jeff and I back, like it just felt like the tide turned at that point.
So let's go through the whole timeline here. You feel like the tide turns at the beginning of the year. WWE and TNA formed this partnership, this multi-year partnership, where formally we start to see TNA talent show up more on WWE NXT, occasionally the main roster, Hendry showing up in the Rumble and at WrestleMania, of course, and some NXT talent.
The partnership started in 2024.
Yeah, but the deal was signed in January for the actual official partnership.
But I think once the partnership happened and there was some talent trading going on back and forth, that was a big positive for us.
Yeah, well, so
once it officially happened, when the deal was signed in January, but even the beginning of it, WWE willing to take the risk and roll the dice to do business with TNA was a big deal.
Well, what do you think the upside was for WWE? At TNA, it was no brainer what the upside was, but what do you think the upside was for WWE?
I mean, I think one of the upsides for them was it was going to make the NXT stars, a lot of them which were new and needed TV time and experience, it made them look like bigger stars by being on TNA. I mean, sure, TNA is a lesser product, not seen as many people, but it is a product that's been around for over 2 decades. So that was obviously a positive for the NXT talent that were there coming up and popping up on TNA. It made them look like bigger stars, and it was good for them on NXT.
So there's a lot of talent exchanging back and forth throughout the year. And we start getting these rumors of TNA exploring a new media rights deal, probably around springtime. And Carlos Silva was brought in as the president of TNA earlier in the year. There's some shuffling that went on, some controversial shuffling, I might add, where some pretty tenured TNA names were let go, but the whole idea was this is someone who's made acquisitions in the past. He's done deals in the past. He's going to be able to come in and he's going to be able to get TNA a new media rights package because TNA was not making any money off of their media rights because they're airing on Access TV, which is owned by their parent company, Anthem Sports and Entertainment. Now, that's a very ambitious thing, man, especially when it's not like the TNA product over the last few years was super hot. So what was the degree of confidence within the locker room that you could get on a new platform and that you would land somewhere profitable and somewhere that would expand the viewership?
Carlos was a hard-ass worker. I think that was pretty apparent from the beginning. He is not born and bred from the wrestling business, so he's not a fucking carny-ass worker like a lot of promoters are. And I think that came off to a lot of people, especially the people that are in the know. There's a lot of new people at TNA that, you know, haven't been around the block, like, you know, myself or Jeff or, you know, Nick Nemeth has been, Frank Kazarian, you know, so we kind of know what's up. But he was very straightforward, very transparent with everything, and he was working really hard. And there were a lot of avenues, and he was knocking on a lot of doors, which that's kind of what he does, and that's his specialty to some degree. And people just hoped we could land something. And our job was to go out there as talents and to give great matches, try and tell the best stories we can, make people give a shit about the wrestlers. And that's something that I stress over and over. That's something, hell, man, we even wrestled the Rascals at WrestleCade. And like I said, dude, like, people are going to dig us. This is more of a casual fan here. Like, we don't need this fucking all these combinations. Like, let's think less about the moves and let's think more about the moments. This is like Hardy Boys, older, middle-aged, and extreme Hardy Boys versus the younger, new, cooler, more athletic, and still fast Hardy Boys. I said that's what we need to give them, and draw that comparison, suck that emotion out of them. And I love the match we did because it was a great match. People kept talking about how good it was, but it was also done really smart in a really smart way. And I've been trying to have that effect on TNA as much as I can, and I actually want to try and even step into a bigger role and do more of that going forward. Really have people work smart, sustainable stuff. Try and cut down on injuries as much as I can, and if you take a risk, make it be a calculated risk. Wrestle smart matches and create characters and stories that people give a shit about.
What do you think the appeal would be for a prospective television partner? We know it would end up becoming AMC, but for a prospective television partner to want to do business with TNA?
I mean, I think regardless of how cable TV has been, obviously it's in less and less homes. Streaming is still out there and it's doing pretty well. Pro wrestling as a live event still does pretty good overall. And TNA is someone now who has started to grow again. It started drawing these big audiences. There's a lot of buzz around it. They have some very well-known names that people seem to like, and they are growing a following. I think it's an opportunity to try a live show on your network and do something a little different, because once again, AMC, obviously we all know what it stands for, but just to try and expand the horizons and do something different. What if we did some sort of live sports broadcasting? And I feel like it worked out with wrestling. They felt like they could get a good deal on this live content. Plus, we're doing a lot of things with WWE, which is helping us and benefiting us as well. The rub from even working together with those guys has been very beneficial. And there was enough top talent. Like, once they learned the Hardy Boys were TNA talent, AMC, there's so many people in AMC that were huge fans of the Hardy Boys, which is wild. When we did the first shoot, when you see where we dive off and we go through these tables with Jeff with the Swanton, me with a leg drop, like, there were a couple guys there that were so excited to be doing that, so excited to be working with us, which is cool. I just think they saw an opportunity, like, hey, maybe this is something that could do really good for us, because, like, as time goes on, you kind of have to change the format, because everything changes, right? Everything evolves, everything changes. Media changes, the way you put out content changes. And I think AMC is always going to be known for, you know, their great series television, especially they've done so much great series content over the last 20 years. I think they were willing to kind of dip their toes into some new water and give it a shot. And TNA was willing to work with them. And I think for them, it seemed affordable. And for us, it was a great deal.
I'm going to tell you a true story here. My body started changing drastically once I turned 30 years old. everything started to hurt. I'm on the diet, and yet my metabolism is still so slow. I'm getting energy crashes at 2 o'clock. It's not supposed to be happening. So naturally, I'm going down the Google rabbit hole trying to figure out what's going on with me. And I'm hearing doctors talk about TRT like it's no big deal, just weekly shots for the rest of your life, $3,000 a year, whatever. Then your body stops naturally producing testosterone. That's kind of scary. Fertility is something that a lot of people think about. What if I want kids? And that's why I started taking Mars Men, because it's way better than TRT. Mars Men gives you the same benefits of optimized testosterone with energy, strength, focus, without shutting your body down. There's no synthetics, no needles, no dependency. It's like hitting the reset button on your hormones factory instead of actually shutting it down. It features just real natural ingredients, and I feel like I finally found something that actually gives me the benefits without all the scary long-term stuff. And now I have more energy. I'm not crashing as much throughout the day. And yeah, I got a little more libido to go with it too. This stuff is made in the USA, it's third-party tested, and it comes with a 90-day money-back guarantee, so there's no risk. Worst case, you don't love it, and you get your money back. But over 91% of users report higher energy levels, so thousands of guys are feeling incredible results. And you can check out all the reviews on the website to see for yourself. For a limited time, our listeners get 60% off for life and 3 free gifts when you use code HARDY at mengotomars.com. That's mengotomars.com. Use code HARDY at checkout. And after you purchase, they're going to ask what you heard about them. Please support our show and tell them that we sent you. Do you believe that the Hardys were a big bargaining chip for this deal? Because you just said people at the network were pretty, oh my goodness, the Hardys are there. Like, that's interesting to me.
Yeah, I mean, not to try and be.
No, I mean, it's real. It's a real assessment.
No, it is, and once again, and not trying to be egotistical, not trying to sell myself here, but yes, I do think it was a big deal. I mean, we are people that we get recognized in the streets every single day. Like there are people that aren't even diehard wrestling fans who know who we are and recognize us and take pictures with us. It's fucking wild. We're very blessed. We're very grateful for it, and that is not lost upon us. And yes, there are a lot of people who know who we are. We have been through generations now. So yes, I do think it was an important part. I think the whole package was important. I think having guys like Mike Santana, even as the champion. I think a guy like Moose, who was a homegrown TNA star. I think Leon Slater. I think all these guys. I think there were a bunch of talent that was very attractive. But we are truly a legacy act that people know who we are, and we're still performing on a half-assed, decent, high level.
Well, Dave asking via WrestlingCoinAlba.com, how do you quantify the pride that you and your brother have for being at the forefront of the media deal? Because he even says you guys no doubt are.
I mean, yeah, we're very proud. We're very proud of it, no doubt. And I mean, for me, TNA is a company which, with my brother, he'd been through some shit and they always took care of him. TNA has given me great opportunities. I will always treasure and be grateful to TNA for giving me the opportunity to do Broken Matt Hardy, even though there were different people at the helm. TNA, that will always remain dear to my heart because of that. And I want to see TNA thrive. I want to do as great as it possibly can do. Like, I want all wrestling companies to do great, because that means more wrestlers have the opportunity to make a good living for themselves. That means more people have the opportunity to work backstage. That means more people get a chance to work in production. It means more jobs all the way around. And I want wrestling to do good and thrive. And I feel a very strong responsibility to doing everything I can to fucking make TNA hit a grand slam on this whole run. Like, it's one of those things I want to step up and even do more to try and make TNA the best product it can possibly be.
Look, I would say this regardless of whether I knew you or not. There's no doubt that the Hardys have been a huge net positive for this little resurgence that TNA has had. Now, I will say this, unbiasedly and being fair, there's only so long that the Hardys can be those flag bearers and carry that equity. Like, you have to build some new people to carry TNA to the next media deal and to the next 5 years beyond that. And you guys are a very important part of the now right now. But I really want to see TNA start to focus in, now that this deal is all signed, sealed, and delivered, on building that next crop who are going to supplement you guys and then take the flag from you guys and run forward. Is that fair to say?
I mean, look who you're talking to, John. Nobody wants to do that
Yeah,
more than
right.
put me in the position of booking and helping out with booking, because I know you have to make tomorrow's stars. Fucking, because time flies and people don't last forever. Once you sit back and rely on the only top guys you have for too long, you're ultimately going to be in trouble. You have to
Okay,
continue. You have to ultimately continue to make new guys. Always.
that's interesting that you said that, because I was going to ask you about this. So Sean Ross Sapp reported on Fightful that a lot of TNA talent who spoke to him said one of the first investments they'd like to see is in a more well-rounded creative team. I've spoken to TNA wrestlers who have echoed those sentiments, and it's not a fuck Tommy Dreamer, fuck Delirious tone. It's, now that we have a little bit of a foundation, we don't want to see creative just fall on two guys. We want to be able to get more voices in the room, have more input, have different ideas coming from different people. How do you feel about that notion of maybe expanding the creative process within TNA? And is that something that you would potentially be interested in doing?
I mean, I ultimately see myself in a creative position. I ultimately see myself in a production position, because I'm a lifer. Like, that's just what it is. I mean, even when I am not wrestling in ring, I'm going to be around doing this shit, giving back, and I will probably be better at that. That's why Vince tried to put me in this shit so early as it was anyway. But I wanted. I mean, I love this shit, and I'm passionate about it. And while I can do it, I want to do it. And I mean, looking at the way things went, especially coming back to TNA and Jeff and I having this huge groundswell of popularity and this huge resurgence and this TV deal happening, like I feel like, we're at the right place at the right time and things happen as they were meant to happen. Uh, I love what Tommy's doing. I feel Tommy is very good to us because he understands us. He understands what we are and what makes us popular, and how to put us in a role to succeed in that. I've enjoyed working with Hunter. I enjoyed working with Hunter being Delirious. Enjoyed working with Hunter in Ring of Honor back when I was doing Big Money Matt and stuff. But yes, I mean, I wouldn't hate if they did expand things out, and I wouldn't hate if I had input and stuff like that. But I do think, for what it's worth, they have both been doing a really good job, because those two guys have been bearing the load, and they did get us to this TV deal.
If Matt Hardy was given the opportunity right now to be a part of the TNA creative team, what would you focus on doing?
I think the first thing I would focus on doing is I would probably pick 4 or 5 people that I really wanted to build and wanted to elevate over the next little bit. And I would find a way to elevate them in the smartest way possible, where it kind of keeps it keeps them growing, but it doesn't hurt anybody else.
That's fair. That's more than fair. I know Leon Slater, likely one of those types, but there's definitely other people.
And he is Leon. They've done a good job of building Leon.
Yeah.
I mean,
Leon's had so again, I mentioned the Sports Illustrated voting. We have a breakout star of the year category. Leon's gotten votes from everybody on that. He had a big time breakout year. There's no doubt about that.
No doubt about it. No doubt about it.
He had an awesome year.
And I love the fact, I take so much pride. Like when I was at AEW, if there was ever a problem that Isaiah or Quinn would get, I would get the call. Like Leon, I'll get buzzed. Like, and I like that. I like being in that role. Especially where they trust me, and I want to give them the best advice possible.
Sure, absolutely. That's all really interesting that you would want to be a part of that. And I think that would be a natural progression for you. And I'd welcome that. I do think TNA, and I've talked about this on social media. I do think TNA needs a little bit of a creative overhaul. I love Tommy Dreamer. Love him. I just think that he's very spread thin right now. He's got a lot of responsibilities with TNA. And I think adding some more voices to the room, whether they come from in wrestling or outside of wrestling, I think it would be a really good thing for TNA to bring some more voices to the table and see what they could cook up and invest in some younger talent that are out there and bring them into the fold. There's a lot of The indies are not what they used to be because WWE and AEW have swallowed up so many of the great promising young talent, but there's a lot of really talented people out there who should be on TV, and I'd love to see a lot of them be given an opportunity to be able to show what they are capable of doing. So hopefully TNA can do that. Look, $7 to $10 million over.
I can tell you this too. There are people, because Jeff and I, we're still somewhat active in.
Yeah, you're out there. You're scouting.
I mean, there's a bunch of people that I will recommend come in and we take a look at and whatnot, and that's something I'll actively be doing.
Yeah, that's great. I love that, and that's great for the business. You guys, that's one of the benefits of you guys being out there. You're scouting in real time while you're wrestling these matches. I love that. But I was saying, $7 to $10 million a year, 2 to 3 year deal potentially here, multi-year deal. We know that's not a ton of money. It's nice and it's helpful. You're making something off of them. It's not enough to go live every week. I spoke to Carlos Silva. He's told me they're not going to be live every week. It's not enough to go out, sign a whole bunch of talent, but it will help with marketing the show and getting the TNA name out there more and maybe tightening up production a little bit. And I think that's really good, Matt. When did you first hear AMC come into the fold?
Gentlemen, enter the room dick first. Blue Chew isn't just a tablet, it's a cheat code for your crotch. Stronger, harder, longer lasting. Like someone gave your downstairs a little pep talk and maybe even a gym membership as well. Blue Chew is the original brand offering chewable tablets for better sex. And you may be saying to yourself, I'm too young for Blue Chew. I'm too old for Blue Chew. But I assure you, no matter how old you are, Blue Chew is just right for you. Take Matt Hardy, for example. He's on the road all the time, so you know that when he comes home, well, that's not the only thing coming if you're picking up what I'm putting down. See, guys, this isn't just about performance. This is about legacy or even your third legacy. Give her group chat something to talk about. You know, when you lay it down, they're talking about how it gets up. Nothing makes you more of a legend than a little Blue Chew. Discover your options at BlueChew.com. We got a special deal for our listeners. As always, you can get your first month of Blue Chew free. Just use promo code HARDY at checkout and pay $5 for shipping. That's it. Join Blue Chew's mission to upgrade humanity one thrust at a time. Head to BlueChew.com for details and safety information. And we thank Blue Chew for sponsoring the extreme life of Matt Hardy.
I knew it had been on the table for a little while, but I didn't know until I went and shot the commercial with him.
Okay, so you shot.
I didn't want to know. I was like, I don't even want to know. And
Right.
like fucking people, like people who did know need to like shut the fuck up and keep that information to themselves. And I get upset when they don't, because it shouldn't be leaked. Because that shit that can sink a deal, and they shouldn't. That news shouldn't be leaked.
Well, I think by the time that you guys shot that promo material, everything was signed, sealed, and delivered. When did you shoot it?
It'd been just a few weeks ago.
A few weeks ago. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, everything was probably signed, sealed, and delivered at that point. But again, and I was transparent in this in my reporting. Again, you and I don't talk about this stuff. This is the first time you and I have spoken about this. My primary information that I got initially when AMC came to the table didn't even come from the wrestling side of things. It came from the TV industry side of things. So there was some buzz about this within the TV industry, about the Dolan family in particular getting into the wrestling game and getting 52 weeks a year first run content. So there is an appealing nature of everything to that. But when you found out it was AMC, I mean, you're a mark for Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul and all these awesome shows like The Walking Dead. Did that feel exciting for you, knowing the possibilities that could come from that?
I mean, the most exciting thing about it is that it is on almost all basic cable. So I mean, it's going to be so much more accessible for people to see. Access TV, it is what it is, but like it wasn't on very many packages. I mean, it was in X amount of homes, but there were a lot of people that just couldn't get it. Or there were a lot of people that weren't going to pay the extra money on DirecTV to get it. They weren't going to have everything. So it's a game changer in the way there's going to be, if people are like, oh shit, well, there's wrestling, it's on AMC, I can fucking watch that because I get AMC, because there's not a lot of people that got that Access TV in comparison to this.
I'm just curious if that audience is curious enough to tune in, because that is so different than anything that airs on AMC. So
It is. I mean, well, I also think too. I also think there is a possibility to do crossovers with
yeah,
this. I think with AMC that can be very interesting, which I also think can make TNA stand out and have its own unique spin on pro wrestling, which is something I'm very much looking forward to seeing how they work hand in hand. It should be a mutual admiration society whenever we're kind of deciding how we're going to ultimately structure and forge TNA going forward.
yeah, and I spoke to Silva, and I haven't even published this publicly yet as we tape this, but he told me that the potential is there as well for some collaboration between TNA and some of the other AMC networks. So WeTV, IFC, Sundance, BBC America. There is an opportunity for TNA to do some work with the sister stations, which they're not in a ton of homes, but it is an opportunity to get even more eyes on it than maybe would have before. How do you feel as a talent? Like, what do you think is going to draw people to want to give this a shot? Because let's call it for what it is, or at least I'll call it for what it is. I think a lot of the success TNA has enjoyed this year has not necessarily been from people watching Impact, not to say people aren't watching Impact, but I think a lot of it's come from them seeing a lot of these TNA stars on NXT and wanting to tune into the big TNA premium events as a result of that. So, what are fans going to be able to expect when they tune in and see Impact in this new form, this new home, new name, etc.?
I mean, I think we have a very talented roster. I just want the show to continue to grow. I just want to. I personally want to step up and do more. I want to continue to contribute more because I feel like this is something I could put my fingerprints on and help build my legacy outside of just being an in-ring competitor, being one half of the greatest of all time. That's thrown on the streets. I'd never say that, but I am excited about it. I think finding our own way, kind of finding our own identity, whatever it may be, just so we can kind of match up with AMC to a degree. I think there's a lot of big possibilities there. And from dealing with the people that were from AMC on this shoot, they were so excited and so enthusiastic. And that shit was infectious, man. So it makes me very much look forward to it. And I'm excited for January the 15th, 2026. And the very next day to just see what those numbers do on the first taping. And I think it's going to be something very special. I know the last time we were super shocked by a TNA number was the Final Deletion, which did 400,000 and change, whatever it may be, which blew everything else away at that time. And then it did a whole lot on DVR over the next 7 days. But I'm very excited to see what this number is, and I think it's going to be another shocking result because I think a lot of people are going to tune in. I think it's very, very important that we go out and hit a grand slam on that opening date.
Sure, and that's great and all, but nothing you just said there, respectfully, is any different than anything they can see on any other wrestling program. So what is it that's going to set TNA apart in this new era that's going to make people want to watch it and stay with it is my question.
I said in there, I said, as we get with AMC and we work in, we work in cahoots with those guys and we try and build our own identity, if there's cross branding, whatever it may be. And we have to build some sort of unique touch on TNA, that they're known for these great series, they're great dramas and whatnot. I think there's ways we could do vignettes. I think there's ways we could present the product so it has its own feel to it. I think TNA does need to have its own identity.
Yeah, it's a very important thing because the field's so crowded. There are so many really good wrestling shows on right now.
And one thing I can say, I'll say this off the top. I want us to focus on story more than fucking 5-star matches because that's fucking way too overdone now. I mean, in AEW, they can have all those, but like the type of audience we're looking for are people that are getting compelled by the storytelling and the characters. That is something I want to focus on. I'll say that blatantly right out front.
But what about to the fan that wants to see good wrestling like that? And that,
I mean, there'll be good wrestling on it, but we're not going to be obsessed over that.
Yeah.
I think at the end of the day, pro wrestling is the most important things are moments more than moves. Great wrestling matches are great. Sure. No doubt about it. But like AEW, that's their thing. They stand out. They have their wrestling like that. I don't think that's the direction we're going to go. We need to find our own identity and go in a different direction.
I just
And I
don't
think
see why you can't have both. I just don't understand that. Why can't there be both?
we see things very differently in wrestling, John.
But I'm saying just like, why can't you have great wrestling that also involves great
I mean,
storytelling?
you can't have great wrestling, but you can't go out there and have match of the year every single night in every single match on every single show. It doesn't work. It's unsustainable, and you kill whatever you mean to make special. When it's time to have a match like that, you have a match like that. But if you try and do that every single time, nothing ends up being special.
Sure, I understand that, and I don't necessarily disagree with that. You definitely want some things to be more special than the others, but I don't know. I'm just of the belief that you can have both things on your TV show. I don't think you need to sacrifice storytelling to have great matches. I don't think you need to sacrifice great matches to have great storytelling. I think those things can coexist together.
That's one thing we will view differently, no doubt about it. And there's a percentage of the internet that have that percentage. If a match is like people that were like, once again, depending on who you ask, was our match with the Dudleys a great match? Some people said it sucked. They said it was awful. Some people said I've had multiple people tell me. I've had 3 or 4 people tell me it was their favorite match of all time.
Sure, but then why can't
the thing we focused on in that match was the storytelling and the characters aspects, trying to get people emotionally invested into it because of our long backstory.
But so if you put that on an episode of Impact, why can't that episode of Impact also have an awesome Leon Slater Moose match that's like a total banger? And like, why can't you have both of those things on the same show?
It could.
Right. So that's my point.
But that's what I'm saying. What was the Hardys versus the Dudleys a great match or no?
I think it told a good story.
Where would the general AEW? Where would they rate that?
I mean, I don't think it's meant to appeal to the AEW fan, but I think that you're acting a little jaded about that because of what they like. Just because what they like doesn't discount their opinion as fans, and just because someone else may want a great match and you guys deliver something else doesn't discount what you guys do as performers either. Like, I think they all can fit within the same world. I don't think it has to be, we're only going to focus on story and that's going to be our main thing, and whatever we put out on the match is whatever we put out, and then we'll give them the big match at the pay-per-view. Like,
there's going to be great matches, but the most important thing you should focus on is the story and the characters.
Sure. Because you got to get people to care.
And Leon's going to go out and he's going to have bangers. He's at that age. He can do that. He's young. He's healthy. He can do that. You know, there's older talent that can still go out there and go. Some of them have to work smart. Jeff and I, we fall into that category.
Yeah, but I mean, you can still have a great match and work smart. There's no rule that you, just because you're older, you can't have a great match. A great match.
There's so many young guys in the business that just do way too much shit. A lot of it's thrown away. It doesn't mean shit. And that is what I'm speaking on right now.
Sure, but that's been wrestling for 50 years.
I am adamant that I'm going to try and do what I can to try and help the young guys. Just like this is how you maximize things. This is how you optimize things. So we're not throwing things away.
But wrestling's been that way for the last 5 decades. It was that way when you came up too. Young guys come in, they want to do everything on the world they can until they're told by a veteran, slow down. And that's not a new concept. By any means, that's not new. It's just maybe magnified by the fact that, sure, one company puts a lot of emphasis on how great of a match can you have, but I don't think that it's fair to blanket that across everything. I don't think that's fair to the industry.
I think you have to make some things. Not every match can go out and be the highest quality match of all time, especially if you want things remembered. You need to emphasize some things.
Yeah, but a high quality match doesn't have to be how many great moves do you do. A high quality match can be like what we're going to see from Gunther and Cena, who probably aren't going to do a ton of amazing things in the match, but they're going to tell a rock solid story with a few really cool sequences, and they're going to get a great match out of that. So I don't understand why that can't be on TV simultaneously to developing characters and telling good stories. That just seems like such a inside a shoebox mentality to have. Like, you're boxing yourself in and you're not giving yourself a chance to grow and attract new fans by doing something like that.
I mean, I just think the emphasis should be the storytelling and the characters involved in the match. If it turns out it is a Leon Slater and a Moose, and they go out there and they turn on the house, then great. That's awesome. And that they're meant to do that sometimes. And that works. But just like every match can't be that. There has to be some variety. I think wrestling is best when it's a variety show.
So there has to be some shitty matches on every show?
No, I didn't say anything about shitty matches. But there are going to be people who go, well, these guys, it was just, they didn't work hard enough and this and that. Like, there's always going to be people that complain. Like, when you read shit on the internet, whether it's an insult or a compliment, like, nothing is like legitimate. The people you need to listen to are people that have been in wrestling, that have done the shit and know how to make money and know what's good and know what appeal to people.
Yeah,
That's what's important.
There's always going to be stupid people. That's the nature. Assume people are stupid until they prove to you that they're smart. That's my mentality at the end of the day. I don't know. I agree with you in many ways, but I also disagree with the notion that
you know where AEW can do that though, and it works for them, and it's where they do their best. Whenever they do a pay-per-view and they build to a big pay-per-view and every match goes out and goes nuts. That is the time to do that, but not on TV every single 52 weeks of the year. If you're at a big pay-per-view, it's a different deal. But on TV, like I want structure on the show, and I want storytelling on the show, and I want that to be the first thing that we're focused on, trying to get people emotionally invested in the wrestlers, the performers, and the stories we're trying to tell.
Yeah, and you can also do that with having a couple good matches on the show. You
don't
have to sacrifice good matches to do that.
I'm not saying
Dynamite did that for a long time when you were there. When Dynamite was really good.
I'm saying not have every good match. I'm saying you can't have every match go out and be a 5-star match.
So
every match going out and being a 5-star match on a show is counterproductive.
So then, just by
unless it's a pay-per-view that's a blow. I'm talking about
by that principle, you're telling people they shouldn't go out there and have a great match. Like, if you're saying every match can't be this awesome match, then inherently you're telling people, well,
I want 2 matches on that show to stand out, and I want them to be remembered from the show. I don't want other people taking the light from those matches.
Right.
That's how I would be as a booker. They might have a match that's shorter, whatever else. It could be good, impactful. But just the fact, if you go out and you have...
That's different. And I agree with you. I agree entirely with you. Okay. All right. I'm just curious. I'm asking, I'm poking the bear here because I'm trying to get in the mind of Matt here as the creative type. If Matt Hardy were to be on the TNA creative team, what are we gonna see? So that's whether it's in TNA or WWE or
I can't
wherever.
wait till the internet picks this one up. It's going to be wonderful.
I mean, you're not saying, you got to stop with the sicko shit though. Not just you. Like those are a group of fans that really enjoy high quality wrestling. Like, I don't think that's a bad thing to talk down to. Like, it's different than what a diehard WWE fan likes, which is different than what a diehard TNA fan like. I don't think we should shame people for liking different things. Like, it's okay to shame people for liking well done steaks. That's a whole different world. But you get what I'm saying? Like, that's
right.
Blasphemous. But
those people don't insult me though, John.
What people don't insult you?
The people that like well done steaks.
Oh no, yeah, because you're from the sticks. But
no, because I fucking don't go out and do a 5-star match every night.
I know what you're saying.
Because they don't understand about legacy and equity and people that have inspired people for decades, and people are willing to pay a ticket to watch them wrestle because it's going to be a very important moment in their life.
But maybe they do. Maybe they do like that, and they do appreciate it, but it's just not what they want to be watching at this moment in time. And they like, you can exist on 2 planes. Hey, the Hardy Boys were fucking awesome. They were super, super important to my transformative years of being a wrestling fan. But the type of wrestling I like watching in 2025 is based around more of this type of wrestler. And like, I think both those things can be true.
In all honesty, that would be fine. Something that just, I don't know why people go online and talk about things that they don't like, or when they bitch.
We've talked about it. Hate watching. It's stupid.
It's just crazy. It's just crazy. Like you can be those kind of people, and they probably wouldn't get any kind of blowback from me if they would just not say anything. But like just those times when they come, and every time it's like AAW, and they think Matt Hardy sabotaged Private Party, like I was fucking doing creative. When I did everything I could to help them. Oh fuck, he ruined them, and he did that. Like, it's just they're a little much for me, man. They're just a little much for me, and I probably am a little jaded from my time there. But it is what it is, and I just think, I think when it's all said and done, when and once again, I'm saying this as I like Tony Khan. I want AEW to do well, but I think when it's all said and done, you will see that fucking story and character are key, more important than anything else.
I just think it's
years down the road.
It's important to be fair to all wrestling fans, because take me as someone, I'll put it in the baseball context. I love advanced stats. I love advanced analytics. I have my segment on this and what I call Albalytics. I love diving into XFIP and WRC plus and all of these stats that I just said, and you have no idea what I'm talking about. And then there's other baseball fans. I would be the sicko. I would be the baseball sicko. Okay. There's other baseball fans.
But those stats too also are. I mean, it's like a legitimate.
No, but hear me out here. But I'll go out there and I'll make an excuse for a player who to the eye test doesn't look very good, but I'll be like, no, they are good. Or if someone does look good to the eye test, I'll say, actually, because of their advanced stats, maybe they're not as good as we believe they are. But then there's the traditional baseball fan that's like, I care about batting average, home runs, and RBIs. And you don't love baseball the way that I do because this is what I grew up on, and it's not as good as what it used to be. And I could do the opposite of that and say, you don't love baseball as much as I do because I dive deeper into things. Does that make one of us love baseball more than the other, or love it less than the other? We all love baseball. We just love it in different ways. And I believe that that's how wrestling fans are too. And sure, the toxicity of social media is annoying as shit. You don't got to convince me of that. You don't got to convince these listeners that. They all know that. We have smart listeners. We have very smart listeners.
We do.
But
our listeners are the best. They rule.
They're great.
The one thing I was going to say, though, that is something different. Also, like, those people are playing, and it's like a legitimate contest that they're doing and whatever they're doing. Even in wrestling, like when some people get upset, some fans get upset, like, if they're the smart as they believe they are, like a lot of times it's somebody else that are telling these people what to do and controlling their actions. Which is kind of different from it, though, which makes it vary a little bit.
Okay, so then let's do it with movies. I don't like the Lord of the Rings movies, but maybe you like the Lord of the Rings movies, but I still love movies, and you still love movies. We just love them in different ways. We love different types of movies, and we don't shame each other in a real world for not appreciating certain movies. We just like movies in different forms and in different ways and different types of storytellings. And I don't think it's any different with wrestling fans, the sickos, the WWE fans, the TNA fans, the New Japan fans. They all love wrestling. They just love it in different ways. That's how I look at it.
That's a better analogy.
So
it's fair. It's just, the toxicity, the negativeness. That's kind of what.
There are some actors out there who I can't stand. I think they're terrible actors. They might have this great legacy, but I don't get why they're popular. But there's going to be other people who think that actor is the most important actor that I've ever seen in my entire life.
Even you, John, I know from your posting, you wouldn't go online and say, whatever actor, insert whatever actor, fuck Bryan Cranston. He's the worst. You know what I mean?
Because I'm sane and I'm not crazy.
Right.
But that rabid fandom exists across everything. There's the AEW fans that they'll criticize for a bad move. There's the WWE fans with Roman Reigns as their avatar that say, bro, he's cooking, even if it's just someone quite literally cooking. Like it exists everywhere. And I just don't think it's fair. And maybe this sounds like, stand up for AEW. I don't give a shit about any of that. I think it's just not fair. I really don't. It has no impact on me.
AEW shill. They're going to get you.
Right. One day I'm a shill. Then the other day someone called me. The other day, someone called me a Nick Khan shill because I was reporting on this AMC deal and I was speaking for Nick Khan. None of this matters to me. What matters to me is that we don't box in wrestling fans for liking one thing over the other and maybe being very strong-minded about that, because at the end of the day, those sickos love the art just as much as the WWE Universe or the TNA fans, just in different ways.
That's fair.
Off the soapbox.
Yeah, what you're saying is fair. It's just, it's the ones who, the ones who come after me.
Sure, and that's fair because they're coming after you.
I'm still in that position where I can say "fuck you," and it is what it is.
The Extreme Life of Matt Hardy. Let's go. I'll tell you what. We'll wrap here. And speaking of wrapped, Spotify Wrapped and Apple Replay dropped as we record this today. We do this every year. If you had the Extreme Life of Matt Hardy on your top podcast lessons, let us know. Tag us at Matt Hardy Pod, at Matt Hardy Brand, at John Alba on Instagram, John_Alba. We want to know. We're going to share your post because we're so appreciative that you guys take the time to listen to us every single week here. It is so meaningful. We take the show on the road. It's great. It's just such a blast. Like, this was a great conversation. We were needling each other a little bit, poking the bear. But at the end of the day, Matt, wrestling's fucking awesome. And you guys get to celebrate that with the new AMC deal. It's good times all around. And we love our diehardies here, man. We love them.
No doubt. No doubt, man.
These are the best. So let us know if you included the Extreme Life of Matt Hardy in your top 5 on Spotify or Apple Podcasts this year, because that's big. And of course, as we always encourage people to do, you can join us. Of course, advertisewithhardy.com. Promote your business to the extreme. Get out in front of thousands of listeners and viewers every single week. That's advertisewithhardy.com. Anything else you want to say here to bow tie this whole conversation?
No. I mean, the thing I would end it with is I want to see WWE. I want to see the Raw, SmackDown, NXT brand. I want to see it thrive. I want to see it do the biggest business, the best business ever done. I want to see TNA do the best business ever done. I wanted to kick ass on AMC. I want AEW to do well. I want AEW to do great business. I want to do the best business it's done. I wanted to do well because it gives more positions for wrestlers to work. You know what I mean? And like, if you're on here and you're a wrestling fan and there's a specific wrestler you don't like, or there's an angle you don't like, whatever, before you jump on and like start talking shit about it, just like maybe pass, just don't watch it. I mean, it's just the easier thing to do. And at the end of the day, probably you are watching it because you hate watching it. And it's just that is what's so weird. Like life is so short. I'm fucking already on the clock. I'm over halfway to 100. I'm trying to stay out the fucking box. And dude, life is too short, guys. Like, enjoy life. Like, be happy. I say this a lot. Like, a positive attitude will take you so much further than a negative attitude. Like, just enjoy what you enjoy and relish in that. But like, if there's some shit that you don't like or you don't enjoy, like, shut the fuck up about it. Just move on. Focus on something else. Focus on things you like. Life is too short. Life is too short to have that negativity and have that toxicity in your life. Like, you're damaging yourself. It's fucking poison. Like, be happy. Like, I don't fucking have hate in my body. Like, it's just, I'm too old for that. Like, I have love. I have kids. I love. I'm happy every day at life. I fucking get to go to work. I get to do what was my passion when I was a kid, and I'm still doing that to this day. Just like drop it with like this negativity. Like, just stop the negativity. It's no good. Nothing positive's coming out of it. Like, take a positive attitude, be optimistic, and turn over a new leaf. 2026 is coming up. If you don't want to do it in December, like, start January 1st.
If not, just pop a blue chew and chew it and do it, Just get it out of you. Whatever it's going to take, folks. We want to make sure that 2026 is starting anew as we enter our 5th year together, over 200 episodes. We're super, super grateful for all you guys here. Yes. And I hope everyone had a great Thanksgiving. And this has been an awesome conversation. Congrats to you guys in the locker room on a new deal. And I'm excited to see what TNA brings to the table in this next set of, I guess, few years of content. And we'll see what you guys are capable of doing.
Yeah, I mean the real hard work starts now. It's time to work harder than ever. Everybody at TNA has a point to prove, and we're gonna bust ass and come out guns a blazing, man. It's time to jump in there and make a name for ourselves.
The words have been spoken. We'll see you next time right here on The Extreme Life of Matt Hardy.
Delete!
Hey everybody, so by now you've heard me bragging about saving people money at savewithconrad.com for years, but I thought, you know what, don't take my word for it. Let's ask someone who really did save with Conrad. Let's welcome in Tyrus. Tyrus, what's going on, man? How are you?
I'm good, Conrad. How about yourself?
Man, I'm delighted to talk to you. I got to ask, what made you come to Save with Conrad originally?
Well, first, I'm a return shopper, if you will. I was listening to the podcast years ago now with you and Bruce, and I just figured we were in the mode for a refinance, and I heard you guys save money, so I called you guys, got hooked up with Jimmy way back then, and that's really how the ball started to roll.
So initially you were interested in lowering your monthly payments, or did you want to knock out some credit card debt, or what was your goal the first time you went to savewithconrad.com?
It was mostly just to get the lower rate, but there's a little bit of credit card debt in there too, so we rolled that all up.
And you got a cheaper monthly payment on the other side of that?
Yeah, yep. And with this time that I used, it saved me quite a bit a month. Yeah.
So let's talk about what brought you back to Save with Conrad. First of all, thank you for using us not once, but twice. I appreciate that. But that was your needs back then. When was that? Was that 2020 that you did that before?
Yeah, it was around that, maybe 2019, somewhere around that.
Okay. So now a few years later, your needs have changed. What prompted you to go to savewithconrad.com this time?
Well, we were looking to refinance once again because we bought during the high rate time, and we had, a little bit of credit card debt, and we thought, why not hit that refinance button? And originally we were thinking, why not just go through the national brand that was servicing our loan? I called one of them over there, and he crunched the numbers, and he said, no can do. Sorry. And then I thought, I'll just stay with Conrad again. And I called, and the delightful Frances answered, and you know her.
Oh, yeah.
And the first thing after I told her what the national brand said, she just said, are they stupid? We can save you money. And she got the ball rolling. I worked with OG Larry, and saving $425 a month.
All right. I love to hear that, man. $425 a month. I love that, dude. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
If you had someone who was on the fence, because I know that there's a lot of people who just know me as the wrestling podcaster, but if you had someone who listens to my pods and they're on the fence about whether or not this is a real service and can he really do this? I mean, what would you say to that?
Absolutely do it. It worked for me multiple times, from Jimmy way back when to Francis and Larry. Just the whole team. They just had nothing but great things to say. They're easy to work with. They worked well with the inspectors and everything like that. It's just a great experience, and I would recommend it to anybody.
Well, I'm glad that we were able to help save you some money, and I would be delighted if we could help save you and your family some money. Do what Tyrus did. Go right now to savewithconrad.com. You can talk to a live person, get a quick quote, or just drop us an email directly at conrad@savewithconrad.com. And of course, we can still do it the old school way. Give us a call toll free at 888-425-0105. Thanks for all the time today, Tyrus. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Conrad.
NMLS number 2129, Equal Housing Lender. SaveWithConrad.com.